Hurston versus Morrisson. Qualities of African American literature: freedom and equality, racism, slavery, a sense of home, slang, gospel music, blues, rap, religion, and African American culture are all qualities found in African American literature. Princeton University professor Albert J. Rabateau has said African American literature speaks to the deeper meaning of the African American presence in this nation. This presence has always been a test case of the nation's claims to freedom, democracy, equality, and the inclusiveness of all. Gender criticism stemmed from feminist literary criticism. However, it focuses on the construction of gender and sexuality. This school of criticism contains subcategories that reveal the complexity of gender criticism within society. These subcategories include feminist criticism and gay and lesbian criticism. Feminist criticism is a vital aspect of gender criticism. It sheds light on how women are portrayed in literature and their roles within such writings. Furthermore, gender criticism focuses on the relationship between men and women within various cultures and societies. Through gender criticism, readers are able to further define what is regarded as masculine and feminine. Beloved, written by Toni Morrison in 1987, is a novel that is set in rural Ohio, several years after the Civil War. The novel expresses important qualities of African American literature, such as slavery, racism, and a sense of home. Beloved is based on how traumatic experiences of slavery haunt a group of former slaves. Seth, the main character, yearns for a sense of place. However, her experience of slavery leaves her feeling lonely and unworthy of owning a home. Also, Beloved expresses gender roles around such experiences. Morrison portrays women as objects rather than a person of equal rights. This is clearly shown when white landowners assault and abuse Seth. Furthermore, Seth portrays obvious aspects of femininity through maternal love for her children. Seth is willing to do anything for her children to keep them safe. That includes killing her youngest daughter, Beloved, to save her from a life of slavery. Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Hurston is a 1937 novel that was revolutionary for its time period. Even though it wasn't critically recognized until the 1970s by Alice Walker, the novel is full of elements of African American literature that shows the culture and societal values at the time the book was written. And at the same time, we can also see aspects of gender issues present. Ms. Hurston shows this point to her audience because during the 1930s, the U.S. was experiencing job discrimination, racism, and sexism. Freedom and equality is a major quality of the African American literature elements that Zora Hurston uses to write her novel. This can be seen throughout the novel, but especially when Janie leaves the plantation in the search of love. Hurston's novel incorporates gender issues and prominent African American qualities. Hurston versus Morrisson. Similarities for African American qualities. Beloved and Their Eyes Were Watching God have more similarities than differences. Both Hurston and Morrisson employ slang as a comment on African American culture and the evolution of the latter within society. Freedom and equality are major themes that weigh heavily within both novels, as both Janie and Seth strive for a sense of equality, be it gender or racial equality. Both protagonists aim for their own versions of freedom. Beloved and Their Eyes Were Watching God are similar in that they both touch on the subject of racism. Characters within each novel experience discrimination because of their African descent. The two novels are connected through their similar issues that help define African American literature. Differences for African American qualities. Morrison's Beloved focuses on the issue of slavery and has an intrinsic aspect within the novel. This is a vital part of African American history. Their Eyes Were Watching God takes on the African American quality of searching for a home in a more contemporary way through Janie's various relationships with men, God, nature, and herself. Similarities for gender criticism. Beloved and Their Eyes Were Watching God contain female protagonists who must overcome society's stereotypes on women. Janie and Seth deal with society's definition of women as inferior to men and available at any man's disposal. Both women are strong enough to surpass these assumptions. Each protagonist shows the strength by doing what is best for herself rather than society. Differences for gender criticism. Janie and Seth are quite different in their experiences with gender roles in society. Janie lives in a more contemporary time period where she is able to more easily find herself as a strong, independent woman. Janie's gender discrimination comes in the form of emotional abuse. Seth's most frequent and literal gender mistreatment puts her in a difficult situation. As a female ex-slave, Seth is weaker and more afraid than Janie to come into her own. She is unable to completely defy man's power over her as a woman. Seth deals with physical abuse when experiencing gender discrimination. Works cited.